All right, good afternoon. It is day 3 of the Special Libraries Association meeting here in Cleveland. We've just completed a session with Victoria Richard and Sue LaBonneville on Competitive Intelligence 101, what the heck are we doing? They gave some perspectives on what it's like to work as a solo CI specialist or intelligence person, a solo intelligence person in a group of intelligence individuals, and then sort of on your own as a contractor or as as your own sort of professional service organization. And there's some things from their presentation that I really want to focus in on because it struck me. The one thing I want to talk about is you kept referring to the results that you provide, the reports that you provide. You just don't deliver them. You socialize them. Could you elaborate a little bit more on this whole socialization process and what that really means? Because I think we as librarians and researchers, we're so used to, the research project has a beginning, a middle, and an end. The end is the deliverable. I hand you the deliverable. See you next time. Could you talk a little bit more about the socialization process, or what does it mean to really socialize something?
Sure. So when we talk about socialization, it's not just about the output. You really have to think about the conversations that you're having from before a project even begins, and really constant conversations that you have from the time that you initially step into a building to work with someone at all. Socialization is so important because it helps you refine the scope of work. It helps make sure that you are still on that scope of work, that work is still relevant days later, weeks later. And at the end of the day, I'm sure many folks have heard that when you give someone a final work product, that should never be the first time that they say it. They should be bored with it by then, and that should really just be a takeaway that they're already expecting. You socialize things to make sure that everybody is on the same page about what's important and what they can expect with that outcome so that they know what they're going to be able to do with it.
Yeah. Do you have anything, like in your experience about socialization? And it's interesting for you because you work in a consultancy, so your stakeholder, your client, it might be more of a transactional type of a situation where you don't get that sort of run up to build that. How do you sort of compensate for that in your type of a situation?
Right. That is difficult, and you just have to keep pushing to get as much face time as you can. Mm-hmm. I gave an example during the talk of a project right now where I can't get to the end user, the real true stakeholder, and that is just a pitfall
mm-hmm.
that nobody wants to fall into. It's not setting any of us up for success.
Yeah, one of the other things that really struck me was this idea of the ongoing conversation and the asking of the question is what is relevant to you, not necessarily what's relevant to me. And it reminds me of there's the old phrase, nothing's ever really new under the sun. In fact, my own notes I put next to that reference interview. Like back in the day, we who have gone through library school and information school have been taught the value, the need of the reference interview, and it never fails to amaze me how many times we come back to this idea of how are we doing reference interview? How are we training and socializing people into do effective reference interview? It's not just it shouldn't be just one question. It should be an ongoing question and a dialogue. And it never fails to amaze me that the fundamentals really never change. Mm-hmm. The fundamentals really never change, and the whole social construct in which we work, both internal context, external context, mm-hmm. is going to influence those conversations, are going to influence those relationships. Mm-hmm. So remember, do a good reference interview. With that, I want to thank you for taking some time to talk about the session, talk about helping us figure out what the heck are we doing in intelligence, not just competitive intelligence, but any type of intelligence. Thank you and have a great rest of the conference.
Thank you very much.